WDDO, W300EB, Macon, Perry, 107.9 FM and 980 AM. The Glory.
There's a storm out on the ocean, and it's moving this away. If you saw now, anchored in Jesus, you will surely drift away. Help me sing. There's a storm, yeah, on the ocean, and it's moving this away. If you saw now, anchored in Jesus, you will surely drift away. Hey, drift away, Lord. You will surely, if you saw not, anchored in Jesus, you will surely. Hey, I'm a soldier in the army of love. I'm a soldier in the army. I got my shield and my sword in the army of love. I got my whole clothes on in the army. Oh, praise the Lord, everybody, yeah. Praise the Lord, everybody.
This is where the community is connected. 980 AM WDDO.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
Macon and Middle Georgia. It's time for Village Talks with Tia and LJ. Join them live every Wednesday from 5:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. right here on the Glory 107.9 FM, 980 AM WDDO. Log on to the Glory 107.9 FM on Facebook or YouTube to become a part of the conversation. Let's go live into the studio for Village Talks with Tia and LJ.
Is your child struggling with reading, writing, learning loss, and a culturally irrelevant curriculum? Do you want your child to be outstanding at reading and writing and also take pride in their culture? Then you want Reading Revolution Online. Reading Revolution Online is a web-based reading support program. We serve scholars in grades K through 8, and through our innovative approach, we help them build reading confidence and cultural identity development, equipping them for success in school and life. They learn about Black heroes and sheroes through captioned videos, reading selections, and other activities. Reading Revolution Online is an experience for the whole family. Do it for the culture. Go to readingrevolution.org and get your membership today.
Hey, great day, everyone. How y'all doing out there? Welcome to Village Talks, the freshest radio show and podcast, bringing you conversations centered on community and culture from the 478 and beyond. I am your co-host, LJ, and my beautiful co-host is right here.
Tia. Peace and blessings, good people. How y'all doing out there?
Hey, we got another co-host today. He's gonna check in with us a little early today. What's going on, Brother Chuck? Brother Chuck's in here with us right now. What's going on?
Not much. What's going on, everybody? Feeling good?
Yeah, Brother Chuck is our. We got a little. Hold on, Brother Tommy. I hear echo. We're good. Okay, we're good. Yeah, Brother Chuck is our. He's our resident mental health professional, as well as a cultural consultant, and he's gonna be checking in with us today. We're gonna be recapping, our last month's episodes where we were focused on and recognizing Black Mental Health Month. Mm-hmm. And we had some good shows last month.
We had some incredible shows last month.
Really, it was action packed. There was a lot of stuff to learn and unpack.
Yes.
Shout out to our guest. We had Mr. Cass Hatcher, who was the CEO, executive director of River Edge.
Yes.
Who else we had?
We had Pastor Paul Little of Bid Mount Zion.
Oh man, that was fire.
It was a great conversation.
Great
with
conversation.
him. And then we had Dr. Khadijah Amin of Black Health. Out of Atlanta. She gave us some facts and information about environmental justice and how it correlates with our mental health. So
That's incredible.
We came in from a few different angles, and we wanted to touch on them. We wanted to get y'all's feedback. So that's basically what we're going to be discussing today. So we really want to get our village family in the midst of the conversation. I know a lot of times y'all are listening in. Some of y'all are taking notes. So we want to make sure that y'all's voices are being heard. So please drop some comments. Give us a call in at 478-250-1444. We'd love to hear from y'all. Christopher Brown is already in the comments. Good evening,
What's
Christopher
up, Chris?
Brown. We appreciate you being here tonight.
Yeah. But like she said again, make sure it's our call in, Chris. Anybody, if y'all are listening, if you're online, call in. The number again is 478-250-1444. It's on the screen as well. Like I said, today is that day for our village. That's why we created this show, actually, for us to hear from the village. You know, we've been having a lot of action-packed guests, but we definitely want to hear from our people. So make sure you call in with us. And also, just to remind y'all, of course, we are live on Facebook and on YouTube and on the Glorious app and website. So make sure y'all check in with us there as well as on the radio. We're on 107.9 FM if you're in the Macon, Middle Georgia area. And then we're also on 980 AM WDDO if you got the AM or the FM dial. But make sure that you also go back and look at some of our old shows. Some of our folks who maybe you're not listening to this right now, or maybe you are. So for future references, just know that if you don't catch us from 5:30 to 6:30 every Wednesday, you can always go back and look at our archive shows. You can see the shows that have already been recorded on Facebook at the Glory 107.9 FM. And you also can go on YouTube and type in Village Talks with Tia and LJ. Yeah. And that's on the Glory's Facebook channel and soon to be our channel. So make sure you check in with that and follow us on Facebook. Follow Village Talks on Facebook. Right. So, but shout out to our family checking in. Village sister Kia. What's
hey,
up?
Sis, what's going on?
What's up? Brother Danny D. D.
Yeah, Danny and Kid, they some of our old faithfuls. They always checking in along with Christopher Brown. He's been tuning in a lot as well. So we appreciate everybody who tunes in every week. Even if you can't join us live, we appreciate y'all replaying the show just to get the information that we're putting out there. And also, we want to make sure, because one of the things that we want to converse about today is some of the topics that we discussed last month. And you all know we have Chuck here. He does our Kapuna segment, and he was talking about identity. So we're going to continue in that conversation, but we want to make sure that we are bringing in all of the dimensions of what we discussed, because y'all, it's a holistic approach.
Absolutely.
And so everything is connected to everything else. So while the shows may not seem like they are connected, in this episode, our goal is to make sure we all see the connection between the shows. Not just from a mental health aspect, but from a spiritual and physical aspect as well.
Absolutely. Hey, shout out to Brother George Thomas. He's a good brother, man. He ran for commissioner last cycle. He's also works in Newtown. But hey, what's this, man? Call in and let us know what you're doing with this. He just got appointed to the Central Georgia Joint Development Authority.
Yes, congratulations. Yeah, George, if you can call in, if you got time, please give us a call in. Let us know what that is and what it means for our community.
For sure.
And for you, really.
But congratulations to you, brother.
Yeah.
You too, Danny D. You too, Kid. Call in.
Right. So we're going to real quick get into what's happening. We have a few events happening this weekend, and if y'all know of any other events, you know what we are saying is not limited to the only things going on in Macon. Y'all know it's always something going on, so leave a comment about something that's going in, something that's going on. We love to hear from you so we can add that information on to our FYIs and get our community involved in some events happening this weekend. But first I want to start with the pre-expo VIP celebration that is going to be hosted by Making Black Pages and the Central Georgia Coalition of Black Businesses. It's a red carpet event. It's an exclusive gathering for CGCBB members, sponsors, and vendors. So if you're going to be vending at the expo on Saturday, this event is for you. The evening will feature fashion, performances, dinner, dancing, and a best dressed competition blending legacy, elegance, and economic power in the celebration of Black excellence. This will be happening at the Macon Mall, and it will be going on again Friday, August 8th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. So make sure you are there. Next, we have the Raider Fest, an annual Title I meeting. This is going to be on Macon's East Side at Northeast High School. The Northeast Zone schools are hosting a community celebration filled with music, line dancing, food, and giveaways. This event includes important Title I meetings and brings families together from Burdell Hunt, Martin Luther King Jr., Byrne, Appling, and Northeast High School. So if you are a Raider, if you're over there on the east side, be sure to check that out. That's going on at Northeast High School, and it'll go from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Then we have the Black Business and Community Expo. Again, this is going to be hosted by Making Black Pages and the Central Georgia Coalition of Black Businesses. This will be running on Saturday as well from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's an indoor event that features Black-owned vendors, youth activities, digital skills training, business and culture panels, and a health and wellness zone. It's a powerful opportunity to connect with local entrepreneurs and organizations working to uplift Black communities. And then finally, we have on Sunday, the Pleasant Hill Family Fun Day in the Park. This is going to be presented by the Pleasant Hill Neighborhood Organization. It's a free community event that offers family games, delicious food, and outdoor fun for all ages. It's a great way to close out the weekend in unity and celebration with neighbors and friends. Again, this will be happening on Sunday, August 10th, and this will be going from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. So if you need to contact anyone in reference to that, that will be Ashley Woodford that you can contact in reference to that event.
Yeah, shout out to them neighborhoods out there.
Oh yeah, everybody getting some things going on.
All right, for sure. What up, Corey? See Corey in there checking in. What them pound cakes at, man?
Right.
Hey, them pound cakes good. What's the name of his business again?
What?
Corey, put it in the chat, man. We sorry, man. Them pound cakes so good, you made us forget the name.
Put it in the chat and also get an assistant, sir. I messaged you on Facebook, like, are you still doing this? He had some cakes going. He had a strawberry cheesecake cake and some devil's food cake, and he had some brownies and all type of stuff. I was looking for. I was like, how do I get involved?
Make sure you get one of them cakes, man. But
yeah, so Corey, please list your information and how we can contact you. The name of your cake business as well as your real estate.
Yeah, it's gonna be some good stuff going on. It's my Southside Pound. Yeah, it's gonna be some good stuff going on this weekend at the Macon Mall. You mentioned that the Making Black Expo this Saturday at the Macon Mall. There's gonna be a lot of different black-owned businesses. They're vending, so you can go and discover some new black-owned businesses, patronize some of the businesses that are already there. If you are a business and want to get connected with that, I don't know. Today might be the last day for you to get connected with that. But make sure you reach out to the Making Black pages on Facebook. You also can reach out to my aunt, Alex Habersham, or anyone that's Ms. Zakia Muhammad. Yeah, make sure you reach out to them and get locked in. Shout out to everybody on the east side, with Raider Fest. One thing I like about east side, we talk about culture a lot, Chuck, and I am from the west side, of course. Let me say that off top now. Everybody shout out they side, south side, all that in the comment. But I'm most definitely from the west side, and I most definitely went to Central High School, the Central High School. But one thing I do like about the east side, I got to say it. All right, now from the elementary school to the middle school, all the way to the high school, they all are named the Raiders. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and they start off like that. Like, so when they do Raider Fest, like you just named this Saturday, right?
Yes.
And like they start off from elementary school calling themselves Raiders, man. Don't say like you can't avoid them, man. So it's a culture, a sense of culture to come along with that.
And unity, absolutely.
And so I respect that. So maybe we might need to do that over here in these elementary schools, Sierras, all of them. When they start off with little Chargers, you know what I'm saying? Don't tell him. Middle school might have to get rid of the Mustang. We might need the Charger.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But nah, the shout out to them on the east side for what they're doing. They're doing good stuff. What's up, Chuck? What's going on? What you got on your mind, man?
Oh man, nothing much. Just glad to be here. Ready to get, go. I'm ready. I'm ready. I ain't gonna. People got to bring their pen and pad, but we ain't gonna dive in that deep today.
Okay, we're gonna keep it light today.
We'll keep it light today. You know what I mean? We'll keep it light. But Yeah, just glad to be here, man. I love this platform. You know, every this is my second time, second month, second time being on here, and just been, you know, watching it grow, watching the guests, and like last month, you know, representing BIPOC or Black Mental Health Awareness Month. It was really on point, man. Y'all touched on a lot of avenues, pretty much everything, you know, holistic, you know, dealing with the infrastructure, River Edge, Mr. Hatcher, you know, dealing with the environment with Dr. Khadijah, and then the spiritual side with Pastor Little.
Right.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. So I'm just waiting to get in, just thinking, you know, how to keep it on the surface.
Yeah, but y'all know when they be doing double dutch and you waiting to jump into the into the rope so you can get your thing going. That's what Chuck over there doing. So
shout out to brother Joe Booz too. He checking. He said culture. Oh, yeah. Shout out to my boy Joe Booz, man.
Yeah, and then Corey put his information, Delicious Creations. I need to remember that. Delicious Creations. And his contact information, y'all, if y'all I'm gonna say it, Corey, for you. It's 478-719-8792. That's how you get in contact with Corey about them pop-up cake shops he be doing here in Macon and Warner Robins. So we write that down, jot that down, get back to it if we can. And then we just want to go back into our accountability check. I know for the last few episodes, we haven't really been touching on the accountability check, but we want to make sure that we are checking in with the community. So feel free to, once I go over the questions, if you want to leave a comment or give us a call in, because what we want to do is make sure that the resources that we have available, you know, Chuck is here. And though he's not a mental health therapist, he is a mental health expert.
Yes, absolutely.
And so he's not an expert, so he's safe.
Oh man, please.
So we want y'all to be sure to tune in really and get connected for real on just not the surface level. We want y'all to dig deeper. So with that being said, we're going to go over our accountability check questions. How has reclaiming your identity impacted your mental well-being? How has reclaiming your identity impacted your mental well-being? In what ways does your spirituality or belief system support or challenge your mental health? What does collective healing look like in our community? And how can we hold systems accountable for injustice while still prioritizing our personal healing? I'm going to read those one more time, and then we can get into the conversation, the Capona segment of the show. So again, how has reclaiming your identity impacted your mental well-being? In what ways does your faith, spirituality, or belief system support or challenge your mental health? What does collective healing look like in our community? And how can we hold systems accountable for injustice while still prioritizing our personal healing? So I don't know if LJ or Chuck, y'all want to touch on those questions. What are y'all thoughts about the accountability check?
What's up?
Okay. I guess with identity, you know, if you don't have a sense of identity, you really don't have a real purpose, you know. And just coming from an African American perspective, you know, we're a community people. Mm-hmm. You know, and a lot of times when you see someone who is moving in a way that's excluding the community, they really got a sense of identity problem. You know,
crisis.
Yeah, they got a sense of identity problem. Dr. Rita Walker, in her book, The Unapologetic Guide to Black Mental Health, that's pretty much what the whole book is about. Having a sense of identity, which gives you your purpose. Okay, and it's like when you have a sense of identity, that gives you a reason to get up every day and do something positive.
Absolutely.
Point blank, you know, for yourself and for your community. So I see as the question was impacting your mental health, reclaiming your identity. It's I want to say identity crisis. I can't think of the proper diagnosis, but you got a lot of diagnoses in the DSM-5 and in the Diagnostic Statistical Manual. You got a lot of diagnoses around a lack of self-identity.
Right,
You know,
right.
people not having, you know, that identity, knowing who they are. And like I say, that gives you your compass in life on where to go, how to go. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? But yeah, and collectively healing in the community, to me, that goes back to a sense of identity.
For
You
sure.
know, we know who we are. You know, we know what we got to do. We got a common purpose for us.
Right.
You know, and that's not racist. You know, how can that be? You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just, I mean, everybody, the purpose of multiculturalism, you know, is for each individual culture to exhibit who they are in their own right. And then everybody come together as a collective whole, humanity, and uplift everyone.
That's right. That's right.
You know, it's not if you for, you know, supporting the Black community because you are African American, then that's only right. You know, how's that a racist? You know, because I've heard individuals kind of, oh, black psychology, that sounds kind of racist. How's that racist? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, first of all, racism is a system. You know, but
right, and a lot of that too, it comes from people not understanding the concept of like loving yourself and not meaning that you hate others.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Because you do see a lot of instances where you get certain people to say such and such power, and it's because you know you hating others or you trying to, you know, it's like you the opposition to something else, right? But a lot of things that we went through, especially as Black folks in America, is being us being marginalized and being oppressed in a lot of different ways and not having the same opportunities, right? So, you know, it's us trying to seek equity in a lot of different situations. You know, and you know, especially when we start talking about, you know, Black identity or Black power and this and that, right? Because a lot of it was taken away from us. You know, we were taken away from our parents. A lot of us, you know, kids, you know, kids are taken away from their mamas, and you know, like even like the family reunions. You know, a lot of people not recognizing how even powerful it was for us to even have family reunions. You know, the first family reunions was just about connecting with families that got taken away from each other during slavery times, or names got changed and things of that nature. So we just now being able to reconnect with one another and have a sense of identity. And I think that's important. Like even with me, you know, just personally, you know, a lot of people see me so advocating so much for, you know, Black folks or underserved, you know, marginalized people. They're like, you know, I asked somebody recently asked me, say, man, are you racist? Do you hate them? You know, do you hate white people? I said, no, I love all people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't racist at all, you know, like, and first of all, like, even when you talk about identity, you know, one good highlight that we had, the show, like even Pastor Paul Little, he talked about having, you know, that how we're tripod beings, you know, and we're spirit, physical, and mental, right? And understanding that, even I heard like a couple other, like Dr. Robin F. I. Men who we follow, he talks about, before you even know what Black man is, or white man, or whatever man is, yellow man, you need to know what man is in general. You know what I mean? And to know that means that first of all, we're spirit. You know, we're spirit first, and then we're physical. The physical is a reflection of that, who we are in the spirit, and the mental is like the go between that. And I know today we said we were gonna be talking about, you know, we're gonna be introducing a little something with your segments that you're coming on for every month, where we talk about the universal principles, and then there are 7 what they call hermetic principles or universal principles. That really stems too from like when you go to if you're a pastor, you know, like you know, you went to Christian ministry, yeah, but you know when you learn hermeneutics, some pastors they're familiar with that, like ethos, pathos, and logos. But the universal principles that come and are supposed to be used with those hermeneutics are supposed to they're supposed to be like a way to interpret the text. It's like supposed to be a universal way of interpreting, you know, text, right? So there are 7 universal principles that a lot of people really might not have heard of. You know, it's not to take anybody away from whatever belief system or what have you. It's something that can be researched, gives us a point of fact or principles that we can be guided by. And we're gonna introduce one at a time, right? And I see our producer Tony put what universal principles are in the chat. I'll go to read it off. It says universal principles are fundamental truths or laws that are believed to apply universally, governing various aspects of existence, from physical phenomena to ethics and human behavior. They often serve as foundational guidelines for understanding the world and our place within it. Right. So we know that Ancient Future, which is an incredible book by Dr. Wayne D. Chandler, he breaks down the 7 Hermetic principles. He begins with the law of mentalism, which is number 1. And I know you said you might touch on that a little bit today. And can you explain what that is, brother? Like with that first universal principle, because even when we talked about the tripod being, even with Pastor Paul, you know, how we have the spirit and the physical, but also the mental, you know, and how that helps us to be able to display who we are in the physical from the spirit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like the number one, should I say the first Hermetic principle is the law of mentalism, right?
Right.
So, and like you said, you could, in theological school, you got hermeneutics, you know, but if you think about it, it's like even with, was it John 1, right? And it says, in the beginning was the word. Okay.
Right.
You know, in Latin, it's not word. In biblical Latin, it's not word, it's logos. Right?
Right.
Which means mind or reasoning. So it's like, and then you look from a psychological perspective, everything that we do is predicated upon the mind. You know what I mean?
Right.
Your thoughts become, you know, your actions, your habits, and henceforth on. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then I like to speak, I'll touch on real quick about what Pastor Little was speaking on, about the tripod being, right?
Right.
With spiritual, with physical, and with mental. Okay. When you study psychology, even from Sigmund Freud, Carl Jung, Erik Erikson, they speak upon the mental as being, especially Carl Jung. The mental is the interface, right? It's the interface between the spiritual and the physical. Okay. So it pretty much guides, you know, which way to go.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because you could be too spiritual, religiosity, or however you want to call it, too spiritual, and you're not functioning in the physical realm.
Right.
You know, a lot of people even diagnose schizophrenia, things of that nature. They're saying they caught, you know, from different aspects. They're too caught up in another realm. What is that realm? You know, so we can equate that to the spiritual realm. Okay. But yeah, it's pretty much an interface. That's why it has to be a balance between your spiritual and your mental.
Right.
You know, and then like the law of mentalism, that's why it's the number 1 law. Because if that's out of balance, then everything else is.
For sure.
All right.
What you think about that, Tia?
So, I mean, I agree. I think that, and it goes along with the saying, I don't know how many people have heard it. Don't be so heavenly, what is it? Don't be so heavenly minded that you're no earthly good. And that's keeping that balance. So making sure that, you know, while we do move in the spirit, we still stay connected to this physical plane and understanding that it's not just one or the other. Like some people are so physically minded where they're so materialistic and individualistic or capitalistic and things of that nature that they forget the spiritual aspect. So they have that disconnect. And it can be, and that's when you talk, and I know that's the law of polarity too, which is one of the universal laws as well. But being able to make that balance, finding that balance in how do we still connect to the creator, build a relationship with the creator, through knowing our own identity as well as doing what we are purposed to do. So in finding that identity spiritually, we're able to move in this world and navigate this earthly realm in a way that's productive and in alignment with what we're supposed to be doing, where we're not just walking aimlessly or confused or not knowing what we're supposed to do because we have that balance. So
What's up? Yeah, and I see our brother Danny, he said words create thoughts, thoughts become reality, right? Yeah, and like one of the most powerful books I ever read, it was Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. When I was a long time ago, and I'll never forget it. But it talked about how from your thoughts come your words. You know, then your words become your actions, or your actions become your habits. Your habits become your character. Then your character becomes your destiny. So like everything begins with a thought, like with everything. You know,
Absolutely.
so you know that's important to know. And we got some people in the chat too that been chiming in with us. Somebody down, Mr. Terry Walker said it's called status. My brother Joe Booz
Called status.
I don't know. I think we were talking about identity or
Okay.
something. You know, Brother Joe Boo said Black Uncensored Media for the win. Most definitely. Yeah, this is a Black-owned station, by the way, y'all. If y'all didn't know, definitely Black-owned. The whole everything, the whole shebang, Black-owned. The tower, everything, and it's the first Black-owned, fully Black-owned station in Macon, Georgia. That's in Macon, actually. So the actual tower itself is in Macon, right? So yeah, that's something. That's a little known Black history fact about the Glory. Y'all didn't know that. Your cousin in here, she said she's supporting your big cousin Brittany.
Okay.
Danny D also shout out Brother Naeem Akbar. Yeah, for sure. Know thyself. But we have Brother Chris Barfield. He said that when local elected officials lack a healthy sense of identity, when they chase titles, follow blindly, or define themselves by loyalty to power rather than service to people, it creates a ripple effect that damages the very fabric of the community. For individuals, especially youth, or those still trying to find their own voice, this lack of authentic leadership can be confusing and discouraging. If the people in power don't stand for something real, how can the average citizen know what to believe in or strive toward? Boy, look at him. Preach. What I got to say about that?
I mean,
that's it. That's self-explanatory, ain't it?
I mean, he said it.
You came with it, Chris. I appreciate that, Brother Barfield. You came with it.
Yeah. Because a lot of our people, I think, when we see, because not just children, I think that a lot of adults are just modeling behaviors that they see. They think that this is the way to make it, or this is the way to be. When we're talking about like morality, values, principles, and things of that nature, if you see somebody doing something, regardless of if it's ethical, moral, just or not, and you feel like the ends are going to justify the means either way. So we have to have leadership and people in places of power that are ethical, that are moral, that do have a moral compass, and can be a real not mentor, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but be someone who our community can look towards and look to as inspiration, and to say, okay, this is what I want to aspire to be, or you have qualities that I feel like these are qualities that a good person should be modeling. And not to say that we don't make mistakes and things like that, but we definitely want to make sure that even when we do make mistakes, we're learning the lessons from those mistakes and not continuously repeating the same mistakes and going through the same cycles over and over again.
Right. And that's why the universal principle is so important too, because right now there's so many people think they opinion mean everything. You know what I mean? Like people ain't researching nothing. Just because they said it, or a whole bunch of people said it that they cool with or they like, that make it truth. You know what I mean? Like just because somebody you said, or just because you believe it, that don't make it truth. Like that's why I call it research. Like after you search something, you can redo it and search and find the same thing over and over again. You know what I mean? Like that's what science is supposed to be about. Like actually you being able to duplicate this. Like not you just saying it. Like if somebody else can't duplicate and come out with the same answer that you came out with, you know what I'm saying? Like,
scientific method.
I was just about to say the same thing.
Yeah.
It exists for a reason. It's not just there to be there.
Yeah, and that's the issue too. Like when we talk about, I know Brother Chris, he brought up identity in relation to politics and community. That's important too, right? Because like we talked about this last week with Dr. Khadija about statistics. We talked about actual data and things like that that are happening in our community, where we can actually look at and see the data and know, okay, this is what's going on. Not just because it's my personal experience or how I feel or whatever, but we got actual data and research to see, okay, this is what's going on. You know what I mean? And if we can't hold nobody accountable, we can't count it.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, how can we do it if we can't count it? You feel me? So, what you feel about that though, man? Like so many people being opinion driven nowadays. Like that's a thing, man. That's a really, that's a real thing. And I mean, we all know that's the thing.
Sense of identity. They want to attach to something. You see, they want their opinion might be congruent with someone else's, may be completely false, but that gives them some sense of attachment, some sense of identity. Oh, this person thinks just like I think.
Right.
I mean, look, I ain't gonna get into politics, but I mean, you know what I mean? That's how politics run.
Right.
People's opinion. Okay, we're gonna go with this group, that group. It gives them a sense of belonging, and that to them equates as their identity. You see?
Right.
So, but it all that goes back to also inauthenticity, not being
Right.
authentic.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But in order to be authentic, you got to have a sense of identity.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Unless, we can go back to elementary school, the ugly duckling.
Right. Right.
The swan thought it was a duck, and tried to belong with the ducks, but it just didn't fit in until it found its true, authentic self. Then it flourished. That's the same thing when you look at the African American community.
Right.
We try to fit in the area of the niche itself, our own,
Right.
and
right,
build
right.
upon our own, support our own, through group economics, like Dr. Chike, cultural appropriate education,
That's right.
And you'll see these students skyrocket.
Right.
He got the stats.
Right. And I think that too, that's one of the things I wanted to say when you were talking about just how Black people need to try to find or connect to their culture. And I think that one of the things that we kind of fail to bring up, and I think that is kind of like a stigma surrounding it when we talk about being brought up or raised in a Eurocentric country where most of the ideals are from a Eurocentric point of view. And so when we do try to bring in things like Black history, Black culture, and I wouldn't even say that Black people only want to learn about Black history, because I think learning about everybody's culture and history and things of that nature, it helps you to be a better person. It helps you to see, yes, there are differences, but there are also similarities in how we connect and unify as people, regardless of skin color, regardless of these, this social construct that has been created to divide us. So I think that it's important that we discuss these things to understand, like when we're talking about psychology, where did it stem from in Western society? Like, how was psychology created? How did we get this version of Christianity when it came from Africa? Like, how do we challenge our own beliefs and the things that we believe in so that we can dig deeper to really connect with who we truly are, not just as Black people, because once again, Black people aren't even a monolith. We come in so many different variations. We all have our own mindsets and viewpoints.
Right.
But at the end of the day, when we start seeing how we connect on not just a human level, but on a spiritual level, it's easier for us to listen to, like Joe said, just listen to other people's points of view.
Right.
We have to listen. We have to be able to listen to each other and not just, okay, I'm waiting to respond to you so I can get my next point across.
Right.
Really understand what people are saying. What do you mean when you say what you're saying? And how can I connect to that and relate to that in a way that makes sense? And if it doesn't, let's have a back and forth until it does make sense to me in a way where now I can take that and do something useful with
Right.
it.
Apply it.
Yes, absolutely.
For sure. So you break that down, girl. Break it down. Hey, look. But yeah, Miss Kia, to speak on what you were saying too. Kia Booz, Villa's sister, she said, responding to you, Brother Chuck, said Black psychology is often misunderstood or dismissed as being racist, when in reality, most traditional psychology was built around the experiences and norms of white populations, leaving out the realities of Black individuals and communities. That was good. That's real good.
That right, sis?
That's real good. We also have Joe Booz. He definitely said it's okay to listen to other people's point of view. You pointed that out, most definitely. And Kia Booz also said that validity, that a lot of people, I guess she was saying that a lot of people are searching for validity with other people's opinions or from the crowd or what have you, but to be to know that I'm sorry, wives, Auntie Tina says, to thy own self be true.
Yes.
Right. So like,
absolutely.
So what you think about that, bro? I know what you think about it, but
share it with the people.
Share it with the people, man, as far as like, a lot of people trying to validate themselves with other people and things of that nature. But just like Auntie said, to their own self be true. How do we find our identity within ourselves?
Yes.
That can be. I'm trying to get rid of something. I don't want to get too complex.
That's all good.
Go neuropsychology, but pretty much understanding that, like you spoke on earlier, the Sister Tia, about understanding your spiritual nature. You see, just you being here, being born, that was what they say, a 1 in a 200 million chance.
Right.
So just you being born, that alone, should give you some type of validity.
Right.
And understanding, like they say, a snowflake. Every snowflake is different.
Absolutely.
So imagine how the Most High formed each and every one of us.
Right.
So everybody has a unique gift, a unique talent. Everyone is unique, right?
Right.
But if we conform, to society or to the what they call the dominant society, where you're this, you're that, where they look at the so-called subordinate society. This is how you operate. This is how you move. This is how you should look. This is how and we get caught up in that. Then you don't want to put into play social media,
Right.
with the comparison. As they got the documentary, The Hack, the one called The Hack, the documentary,
Tell
the
us about
whistleblower speak a little bit out. I'm talking about how social media, Facebook, Instagram, how they just really psychological engineering experiments, getting people to conform to a certain way and behave in a certain way. And then on top of that, not only that, when you're scrolling day in, day out, looking, just
them
scrolling,
dopamine hits.
you're killing you crushing your neurological factor.
Mhm.
You're making yourself weaker, you see?
Right.
And in that, I'm just gonna touch a little bit, by being authentic and understand your true nature. God gave us certain brain regions in our brain, certain neurological factors, so that it can reinforce who we are.
Right.
And that's the DMN, default mode network. I ain't gonna go too far in it, but you got regions in your brain that help you formulate who you are and who you're supposed to be. The medial prefrontal cortex, the anterior cingulate cortex, things of that nature. God equipped us to be our own unique self.
Absolutely.
Right.
And that's why when you look at rates of suicide, depression, anxiety, that comes from comparison. You're trying to compare your life to someone.
Right.
Everybody got their own journey. If it takes you 60, 70 years old to find yourself, when you come into that awakening, you find yourself, your life is gonna take a whole 180.
Absolutely.
Right.
It's like it's gonna be a grand awakening. So it just pretty much then I go back to being authentic. That's really number one when it comes with a sense of identity, being authentic. Because when you're not authentic, you can be manipulated, tricked. You'll manipulate yourself, as you can see amongst us in our communities.
Right.
We constantly trick. I'm talking about your personal self, not you trick your neighbor or you get over someone in the
Right.
community. You will actually trick yourself.
Right. Lying to yourself.
Yeah, it was a Danish philosopher in the 19th century, Soren Kierkegaard. He speaks upon authenticity and how people will be subjugated if they're not authentic, But I mean, it's we got to. I don't know.
No, that's real, brother. Like, because we were just talking about this, right? We were talking about how we talk about artificial intelligence, right?
Mm-hmm.
All of us we been talking about that, and how there's a such thing as authentic intelligence, right? So the AIs we didn't got thrown off. It was the artificial intelligence thinking for us, and we've lost our authenticity in that. Well, we ain't even got to think no more. Like, we got the Google, got the search engines, all that. Like, and it's suggesting stuff. So when you pick up your phone, it's telling you, telling. So we're losing ourselves. And then you got we watching T and I. We watching 60 Minutes the other day, right? And they were talking about this guy who he created this new AI. They call it AIG, or Artificial Intelligence General, right? It's a guy who created this new AI program for Google. And as a matter of fact, he has a PhD in neuroscience. No, sorry, neuropsychology and neuroscience, right? But he's a master of computers. But they also asked him, like, hey, why you get a PhD or a doctorate in neuroscience? Because he was talking about how you need to understand the human brain and the authenticity of that's programming the AI, right? But he was talking about the next phase of the world and what the world is going to be needing. He was just saying, the next phase of the world, we're gonna need more people to be authentic, like to understand like our human consciousness and like the depths and the levels that we can go, because we got lost. Because a lot of times we think that technology means that we progressing, but in a lot of different ways we regressing,
Right.
because we're becoming so dependent, on the technology and this AI and stuff like that. So these lessons, these things we're talking about right now, I don't know if y'all know, we know this is very important. These are very important conversations. There are others that's out here that's programming these computers and selling all these technologies, making billions of dollars.
Right.
And they know that authentic intelligence is becoming more important every day as artificial intelligence gets more popular.
Absolutely. And then I could just say, just from like a personal example, even with the artificial intelligence, when you talk about like ChatGPT and things like that, a lot of times, depending on how you ask the question, is going to depend on how they deliver the response. And if we don't even have the critical thinking skills to kind of work through some of the things that ChatGPT might tell us, we can run off with some misinformation just in that way. Because I know a lot of times ChatGPT will tell me something, I'm like, are you sure? Do you know about this when this happened in this year? And then ChatGPT will be like, oh, I'm so sorry. You're right. Let me, and then recalibrate the answer based on that. So a lot of times we're using these artificial sources as a way to kind of get our information. And while it's good, it's useful, we still have to remember that, we are God's greatest creation. Like we have all of the capabilities of everything. We have, all the minerals, and all of these different things, all these components are within who we are as people, as divine beings walking this earth. So we have to remember who we are. And so we can't just take this these simulations or these AI chat bots and all of these things and think that they are going to give us all of the information that we need. That's why community is important, having conversations, having leaders, either spiritual or whatever the case may be. We have to stay in community and communion with each other. But it does all start with ourselves, understanding that God is within us and everyone else. And that's how we start understanding what our purpose is. When we can sit and be still and be quiet and go within and understand that when we go within ourselves, the answer is there. So we don't necessarily need ChatGPT for a solution. It might can help guide us in a direction, but we have to start trusting our intuition. So even when they talk about women's intuition and things like that, it's not just women's intuition. We all have that same spirit inside of us to get the answer out, where we don't have to look to the outside. But it is good, to make sure that when we are looking outside of ourselves and getting, confirmations and things like that and getting understanding, that we're not just limiting ourselves to this artificial intelligence.
Mm-hmm. Girl, what's your cash out? What that collection play that, Chuck? Hey, man, that thing,
I like to touch too real quick on that, like what she was saying about the chat boxes, right? Those are nothing but systems and programs that were coded. Right. That's why our children got to get into STEM. Now imagine you got. I mean, and we already know STEM was created through African Americans. Come on. You start with Benjamin Banneker. George Washington Carver. Mm-hmm. And just the list goes on and on, dealing with science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We got to get our kids. Our kids are purposely marginalized and left out in these spaces. I've witnessed a 5-year-old in Athens code. She was 5 years old. She's coding and learned in like a 2-week session.
Go ahead, ma'am.
And we got to. I don't know if y'all do any look at. I like to look at BBC, right? BBC.
Oh yeah.
They talked about. And also, I want to say DeGrasse Tyson. What's the science? What's his name?
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah, Neil deGrasse Tyson. He talked about the same thing about how Nigerian students and people of African descent in Europe and the UK are excelling in these areas.
Right.
But you look at the United States. You look around here. It's not too much STEM in the black schools.
Right.
And that's to me. I think that's by design. Mm-hmm. because our kids excel when it comes to that, especially the little girls. You know, by me I done touched over 100 students dealing with robotics, and 99.9 have been African American, and they take off with it.
Right.
They take off with it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we got to get our kids in this area so that they can not only will it secure them economically or with employment, but it gives them the authority. Who's creating these chat boxes?
Right.
Now you can create a chat box geared or catered toward African American dealing with history. History is being taken out of schools. Let's create a chat box that has all the history.
That's right.
That the children can, you know, it's just things of that nature, you know, because you got to understand these chat boxes, you know, Chat GPT, all these interfaces are programmed and coded by someone.
That's right. That's right. That's
You
right.
know, I just wanted to interject that right there, man.
No, that's real.
That's good.
That's real.
That's good.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, it's like we got some folks in the chat. I don't want to lose. And all y'all people in the chat, all our good people. We love the fact that y'all are in this chat, all right? But we do have about 10 more minutes left. We didn't say our phone number. Please take advantage. Call
And it's
in.
on the screen if you live with us on Facebook or YouTube. If not, if you listen to us on the radio, we are at 478-250-1444. And then we're gonna go over a couple of the chat responses. Jabu said, and nope. We already read that. It's much easier to go along than to stand alone. It is easier, but everything that's easy ain't right. You know, you know, sometimes we need to stand up, and I think that takes courage, and then that's building spiritual power as well. So it's not just building like physically, where you know we want to be strong and all of that, but to stand against or go against the grain. It takes real strength. It takes real courage. It takes real spiritual muscle to say that despite everybody going in this direction, because that's what everybody else doing, I'm going to go this other way. So thanks, Joe, for that, because even though it's easier, we want to make sure that we are not just standing with or being complicit to or complacent with things that are happening.
Right.
Tina Denard said, love this. Zakia, love that. Kia said, preach, Kia booze. And then Zakia Muhammad says, true, losing what is real and what's fabricated. Chris Barfield says, God gave each of us our own unique birthday and moment in time. The fact alone should ground us in a deep sense of identity. You weren't just born, you were assigned into existence by the Creator himself.
Right.
He didn't create you or any of us to just fill space or populate the earth. He was intentional, purposeful. He thought that much of you. Yes,
That's real. What's your cash out, Chris? Hey, we about to do some cash out. Y'all ain't preaching today.
Chris, you out here preaching it. And again, and that's what goes back to this just not being about a black or white thing. When we all understand that, it's easier for us to see past color. Not to say that we don't see it,
Right.
but that's not our main focus. We understand that you are spirit, you are essence, you are part of what God created. You're God's creation. We all are. And so that means that we all have a right to exist peacefully and with equity and with justice. So thanks, Chris, for that, because that's much needed. Kia said it's a tool, and I believe she's talking about Chat GPT.
Right.
And all of those AI pieces.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, also too, like I know yesterday, so we can speak on this real quick, because I did go live and I had quite a few people reach out to me about it. But T and I, we went to the Monroe County yesterday, to the commission meeting and hearing they had about the data center that they were proposing off of 75 and 41, I think it was up there. And the community rallied behind it. I mean, they were really fighting against it for a while. It's been for some months. I think about a year almost, right?
So yes,
Yeah,
they went to the planning and zoning.
Right, to plan the zoning, right? But they denied it yesterday. But there are many data centers that they are trying to create right now, up and down, actually all around the Morgan River. You know,
Yes.
this whole Morgan River corridor, because I guess we had such a strong sense of water. You know, we got a water source that's viable and a power source with the Plant Shearer and Juliet. Although, you know, I think Plant Shearer is really scheduled to close in a few years supposedly, but now they're saying they might extend the lifetime of Plant Shearer because of that. And then also, you know, making water, you know, our water, they kept talking about it, how Making Water Authority was going to
be the provider.
Well, how we supposed to be providing the water for these data centers, right? So that's something that we need to be paying attention to here in Macon. I know we have some very, very passionate commissioners on the water authorities. You know, shout out to Mr. Lane Lucas. Her show comes on before hours, by the way, y'all, on Asking Lane. And we have Shea Butter Deacon, Mr. Desmond Brown. He's a water authority commissioner. But you know, I'm quite sure they're gonna get on top of it. But that's something for us to look out for, you know, as far as these data centers and all that. But we got to recognize that this data, these computers and all that, they still require natural resources. The same way Brother Tuck is talking about, you know, these computers are programmed by people. You know, we're natural. You know, we the greatest in, you know, a natural resource. But at the end of the day, we need to definitely pay attention to these resources and our environment and understand, you know, what part that plays into everything around us, because it plays a huge part. And the PSC election is coming up. I'm going to throw that up for y'all, because I also heard a lot of people talk about these power bills. It's sky high. I think somebody said they had an $1,800 power bill, which is crazy.
That's ridiculous.
You know, but yeah, so y'all need to pay attention to these elections that are coming up with the Public Service Commission.
November 4th, y'all, is election day. So be sure, if you didn't vote in these primaries for the PSC, that you are paying attention to. I believe it's Hubbard is the Democratic runner, and Fitzgerald is the incumbent. He's a Republican. And so make sure y'all are paying attention to what they're saying, the policies that they are bringing are going to be carrying forward, because it's going to have a lot to do with what we see in the PSC in these upcoming years, especially when we're talking about all of these data centers, because I'm not sure, you know, if PSC will be regulating those, but if Georgia Power has anything to do with it, the PSC does regulate Georgia Power. Right.
And around here too, like I'm very passionate about our youth development. I know Brother Tuck, you deal a lot with that with Chester community. You know, we gotta get our commissioners and our folks around here too to get focused more on youth development and workforce development. You know, I know we talk a lot about our environment, but you know, youth development is key to all of this. Development is key to all of this. Like the people, you know, have to be built first. We talk about these buildings, we talk about, you know, new arenas and all these different things that are happening, but we gotta train up our youth, you know, and be able to retain our talent. You know, make people want to stay in Macon, you know, after they graduate. Not look at it like leaving Macon is an achievement all the time. Like, you know, helping our people understand that, hey, you know, I want to pour back into the community that poured into me, you know. Absolutely. And then also have a workforce that's available for them that can give them living wages, you know, and we can get a 6-figure job, you know, in different spaces too, not just even in the industrial space, you know, but like even in the tech space. When you talk about STEM, you know, we need to start attracting some of these different tech companies to want to come to Macon, because we have such a valuable, you know, youth development programming here, that we have a workforce ready and available, you know, for them. So make sure y'all support programs like Chester Community, you know.
Support those. And then I just want to say, we always have to keep a balance though, y'all, because even when we talk about different industries coming in and they might be good paying jobs, but we need to have long-term thinking. You know, what's our 10-year, 25-year, 50-year plan for our community? Because some of these industries might come in, but overall, they, you know, you might get good pay, but what is it doing to the environment? I know last week, Corey was talking about Southside and those industrial areas over there, and the impact that it has had long term on the south side of Macon's community. So we have to keep those things in mind. Yes, we want to progress. Yes, we want to economically be sufficient and sustain, but we also want to make sure that we are not causing environmental damage that is not only impacting, you know, trees, nature, but it's also impacting us, because when we talk about things like heart disease, asthma, and things of that nature, our community, the Black community in particular, experiences those things at high levels. So we want to make sure that we are being holistic in our approach to everything.
Absolutely. And I want to give a quick shout out to our future guests before our brother Tuck gives us his final thoughts. Next week we got Heal the Hood coming on. Shout out to them. Shout out our brother Head. Shout out to Pastor Cabinets and Bevan Ware. They're doing great work with Heal the Hood, and we're gonna talk all about that next week. We also have Supreme Court Clerk Erica Woodford. She's gonna come in. the week after that, she did an amazing project too, y'all, about the Black Slave records here in Macon.
The Slave People Project.
The Slave Black, yeah. And she's the first person to do it in the history of America.
Culture.
Yes.
Yeah, right here in Macon, Georgia. So she's gonna break that down. That's most definitely culture. And then we also got Pastor Dr. Dominique Johnson coming in the week after that. He just made the new truancy officer for Bibb County Schools. He wears a whole lot of hats. So y'all know Pastor Dominique, urban CEO, all type of stuff, Kingdom Life. But we're gonna definitely dive into that about the truancy, and our kids.
And then real quick, y'all, I just want to shout out Her Majesty in Monroe County. When I tell you her food was incredible, so if y'all haven't been to Monroe County, Her Majesty, she has some Louisiana cuisine that y'all definitely need to go check out whenever y'all are able to. And with that, I'm going to ask Brother Chuck here to give us his final thoughts on everything as we make our way towards the end of the show.
Just God first. That's all I can say. God first, don't follow the crowd. God first. Be an individual. Seek within.
That's
everything, come about.
All right, man. Hey, that's all we got to tell y'all right there. Inside out. That's the true power, y'all. Y'all heard it. Village Talks. The next week, hopefully y'all call in. 478-250-1444. But hey, it's all good. We appreciate y'all. Y'all can go back and watch this show. Watch the other shows. If you watch this, make sure you share with the people. Let them know what's going on with us every Wednesday. Hey, shout out to Miss Cat Coles, little brother Jayden. We're going to definitely have him on here very soon.
Yeah. Shout out to our sponsors, Assembly Brothers, Homeland Village. Some blessings, y'all.
Yeah, but thank you for checking in with us every Wednesday right here on Village
Community through gospel. The new 107.9 FM, W300EB, Macon, and WDDO 980 AM, Perry, Macon. Unique to Auto Detailing, serving Middle Georgia for 30 years. Looking for a Christian-owned and operated place to take your vehicle for detailing? Unique to Auto Detailing is the place for you. Full detailing, wet sanding, wash and wax, buffing, auto sale, auto paint and body. Bring your vehicle today at 859 MLK Boulevard in Macon. Unique to Auto Detailing with a professional and friendly staff. Call today at 478-738-0809. That's 478-738-0809. Unique to Auto Detailing, the place you leave